I don't want to slur. You know what? You ever have those days where... Are you recording, by the way?
Yes. I like how right before you're about to say something, you're not too sure how to say it.
I'm like, do I need to be careful with what I say? Yeah. You ever have those days where you're just kind of like very exhausted, but you know how to say certain things? Mm-hmm. Like you're like, speaking. Wow, I'm tumbling over my words now. I'm just like, I knew what I was going to say, and now I'm just like, now that you caught me on air, I'm just like all nervous. No, but like, because like I said, I think we spoke earlier before recording or before starting recording the podcast. Yes. It's been a long week. I felt, for me at least, it's been a long week. Yeah. So today I'm kind of like monotone. I'm like happy that I'm here. We're going to record something fun.
I always look forward to Friday coming around.
It's the end of the week for us. And I think that this is like we've said it in the past podcast issues before. This is more of like a stress relief for us. Yeah. You know, this is like when we come back after working and we just talk about nerdy stuff and you know, just catch up, and it's just it's fun overall. Like it's not work at all. It's just enjoyable. But like today, I don't know, let's see how this energy drink is going to affect me. But I feel like today I'm going to be very careful about how I speak. Like I'm going to analyze every word before it comes out of my mouth. That's how I feel today.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like...
Are you just tired of people coming at you for what you say?
No. We got a couple comments regarding that too.
Yeah, it's funny.
Eric reached out to us.
And
he's like, I don't think you're a villain. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah. I feel like one day I'm going to turn into Professor Chaos though. But I think it's just how, I don't know. I think it might be how I take it. It's nothing bad.
No.
It's nothing bad. Yeah. I enjoy it. I enjoy the back and forth, you know. It helps me become a better person, I guess you could say. How have you been, Rene?
You know what? Today, I woke up and I was like, you know what? It's going to be a good day. I'm going to record and stuff. And I got here. And then I opened. And it got pretty busy. It got like really busy when I opened. But there's one guy the first guy to talk to me put me in a bad mood. Oh. He came in here and he was just on it. Okay, you know those type of people that come in or like you're in an area where you know everything, right? Like you know your stuff. You know, especially if you're here at the comic book store, you know, everyone knows what they know and stuff. And he comes in and the first thing he says, he goes, "Oh man, you know, you must read a lot of comic books since you work here." And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, oh yeah. He goes, you must read a lot of comic books. I'm like, well, yeah, I work here, so you know, it's not hard. He goes, well, see, I already hate that question already. There's questions that I hate. I hate, what do you recommend? What's hot?
That's hot.
Yeah, or because I don't know. It's just I feel like when people ask those two questions, they don't really think for themselves. They just basically want what's trending.
Okay.
And they don't really know what they want, because when they say, what do you recommend? And I'm like, what do you like?
That's the hardest question to answer when it comes into it, because they could say, someone can ask, is like, oh, well, what do you recommend? As someone, because I mean, I don't work at the comic book store, but like I get asked, since I'm very apparent that I, read comic books and stuff like that. Oh, well, what do you recommend? And I've been asked the question before. From my end, at least, and I want to hear what you say.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like complicated because you want to get to know the person first. You can't just simply say, oh, read Spider-Man, read Batman, read The Flash.
I can't do that. Yeah.
You can't. And that's because you don't know the person's taste. The Flash reads different than the Batman. Yeah. And Spider-Man reads different than, I don't know, another Marvel comic, Iron Man, for example. And there's different arcs, and you don't know if the person would be dropping in at, the middle of an arc or something and be completely ruined.
That's the thing. So I always report back, like say back, what are you into? And they go, well, I like Marvel. Okay, well, is there any certain characters that you like or were interested in? 9 times out of 10 they'll say Captain America, Black Widow, or something like that. I'm like, okay, I can work with that. All right. But I'll get these people that are literally I'll be like, well, what do you like? Well, I'm not picky. Well, what are you into? Pretty much anything. And it's like,
you're indecisive. Where do you want to go eat? I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. Yeah. And like, I'll be like, well, do you want to read DC or Marvel? Well, I like both, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm like, okay, well, how about this Batman story? Well, Batman's too much Batman. And I'm like, God. Okay, well, how about for Marvel? And you want to read something Avengers? I want to read something that's basically about one character. Okay, well, which character? I don't really care. It's just like, dude, give me something. You know? So this guy comes. So so this guy comes in, going back now. It's just, he was automatically kind of like, oh yeah, like he was talking about Deceased with me, the what is it, the zombie DC storyline. And he mentioned something that was mentioned in the new arc, but I haven't read. And he spoiled something.
Oh no.
He goes, did you hear about this, that, and this? This character was going to be in here? And I'm like, no, that hasn't happened yet. Well, it's happening in the new storyline. And I'm like, well, I haven't read it, so that's a spoiler already.
Dang.
And he was like, oh well, I'm sorry. I'm like, whatever, it's cool, And I shrugged it off because, he wanted to talk. But then he was like looking around and he's like, oh yeah, so is this the one that, like, Batman dies? And I'm like, no, he doesn't die. That happens in, like, Nightfall, like, because, like, he pulls up Tales of the Dark Universe, and it's like, I told him it's like basically like it's like basically a what if kind of storylines that happen in the DC universe.
Okay.
And he goes, oh, is this the one that, like, Batman dies? I'm like, well, maybe that happens in Nightfall. He goes, in Nightfall, the original one, Batman hung himself. He tried to kill himself. I'm like, what? No, that doesn't happen. Yeah, he tries to kill himself, and then he ends up realigning his back. And I'm like, that's not how it happens. I was like,
okay.
Yeah, no, that's my same reaction, right?
It's the face I make?
Was the face I made, but I'm wearing my face mask.
My famous
faces. I'm wearing my face mask, so I'm trying to insinuate my eyes more. And so then so the whole time he's doing that. He's trying to add something, like knowledge that he knows, but it never really happens, and he tries so hard to prove it. And that's what pissed me off. And I was already in a bad mood already by the end of it. And he just walks out. I tried so hard to be kind to the other customers as well too, because I was just like,
dude, don't tell me what's right and what's wrong. I think the best advice we can give people like that is if someone, because I think we mentioned this in like an early issue of the podcast, where it's like nerd culture has evolved. We no longer feel like we have to hold on to everything so close to us and be like, oh, you're trying to be a nerd? You're no better than us. And it, like, be conceited in a way. We're open about it now. Yeah. I think the best advice we can give to people trying to get into this new atmosphere or this new community, I guess you could say, is that if we offer, a recommendation, be it a character arc or, a specific story or a trait or whatever it may be, take it, because we know it's not just, we're not just selling our taste. Yeah. We pretty much are trying to sell something that we feel is really good. Fables, for example, we go back to that always. And I think, people have been affected by that recommendation. It's like, oh, well, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. Yeah. Even had Andy talk about it as well. Yeah. So it's weird. It's like, like if we're trying our hardest to tell you that this is something we recommend, take it, because it might end up being a good issue or a good arc or a good series or whatever it may be, It doesn't always have to be Marvel or DC. That's
the thing. Yeah, there's other good stories out there. It's just me the thing is that when people ask for recommendations, I try not to recommend Batman stuff or superhero based ones right off the bat, because those are the ones I like. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I always ask the question, what do you want? Or what do you want to read? And then when people don't know what they want to read, I go, think of it as like movies. What are you into? Because you can mirror comic books and movies.
Oh yeah.
Of like, same thing as like when people ask recommendations, it's like, well, what do you like? I like horror. Okay. There's The Walking Dead. There's also, Outcast and stuff like that. Something Killing the Children. There's these horror-based comic books that are out as well too. So, when you come into the store, that's just one of the questions that I hate. But just be prepared of what you want to know, like what you like. It's all about what you like at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We don't bite.
No,
we don't bite. We may bark.
Unless you force me to.
All right, Rene, so let's get going into this episode.
Yeah.
We got a pretty packed Spooky Nerds episode today.
Spooky Nerds. Spooky time.
Today's choice of energy drink, we've been switching it up, man. I feel like Bang has just tired us out.
I think we're going to take a little break from Bang, but this is, I keep forgetting how good these are.
Mountain Dew Kickstart.
Because I told him, like, I like the Midnight Grape ones because they remind me of Pitch Black.
So I'm going to try to find the Game Fuel ones next.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that way we try them out.
Really quick, I have tried the new Voodoo flavor.
Where?
Oh, Walmart has it as a 6-pack.
Bottle or can?
Bottled.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, Sorry.
But I read what the new flavor was because
It's candy apple.
Yeah, it's candy apple, and I drank it. It literally tastes like liquid Skittles.
Yeah, I have a bottle at home, but I need the actual can because I collect.
Oh, because you collect the can.
I collect the cans unopened.
So it has a little Mountain Dew.
I'm still on the hunt. Still on the hunt. All right, Rene. So let's kick the start. Oh my God, man. Let's settle. Let's wait until this caffeine settles.
Yeah. So here.
All right. Let's go ahead and kickstart this episode. Let's go.
With the intro. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Keeping the Nerds Variety Hour, coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, aiming to be Whittier's #1 podcast of all things nerdy. I'm your host, Rene.
And this is Bryan.
And welcome to the show, everyone.
There we go. I sensed a little bit of a.
I got a little stumble.
You got a little stumble at the beginning.
I tripped over my feet, and then I picked myself back up.
Well, we got a jam-packed episode today.
Yes.
Yes. So fortunately, because I know the last couple of times we've been saying like, oh, there's a bit of news here and a bit of news there. We got some pretty interesting news.
Got some little stuff thrown at us this week.
Not comic book or video game related.
Yeah.
Movie related.
Yeah, mostly movie-based stuff.
Which is good.
Week. Yeah,
it's good.
We like movies.
Yeah, we love movies, but with Hollywood basically closing out and theaters not being open, it's kind of surprising to see this sort of stuff happening.
That was a burp.
And
the mic.
I don't think we heard it. So
really, I think it did. We'll see when we record back.
When I check it, when I edit this whole thing, maybe we'll see. I'll maybe enhance it or something.
Right, there you go.
But anyway, so with Hollywood being closed, theaters still being closed, it's interesting to see all this stuff coming out still.
Yeah, they're really quick. They're also filming. They just started filming Stranger Things season 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're getting there. So we'll talk about that. But let's go through the spooky nerds portion of this podcast.
Yes.
Part 3. We got one more.
One more episode, which is everyone. Okay, we got good feedback on your story.
Are you serious?
Yeah, people loved your story.
Oh. But it's based off a true story, guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. They loved it because
this isn't The Conjuring or anything. This is like real.
No, yeah, but there's some good feedback on last week's episode, which was good, you know.
Okay, good.
It was a good story.
Don't make me nervous to tell the rest of it next week.
Big expectations. Just kidding.
Well, I'm not gonna let them down. Like I said, it's all true, and there's still stuff that goes on. And I think I teased it maybe that part of this story in the second portion I'm going to talk about, there were a couple cases where I almost died.
No, you didn't say that.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I almost died.
Oh, shit. I don't want to see it.
So, that's a little teaser right there.
So that was another... Okay, when Eric messaged us really quick, when he messaged us, he said he loved that I was cussing. I was like, did I cuss? And I listened to it back, like, oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, we try our hardest not to.
Yeah, but it's just hard to get out once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes it slips out, whatever, especially when you're talking about scary stories like this, of course. Yeah.
So let's get into the recommendations this week.
Perfect. Renee, you're going to be proud of me this week.
Go ahead and you go first then.
You want me to go first?
Go first.
Okay, so I already told you that I cannot for the life of me watch scary movies, right? So I think last week I was saying, I wanted to watch It Follows and Gremlins, mainly because I grew up with the Gremlins and see how it, evolved as a Halloween movie now that I'm an adult. And then It Follows I've never seen, but I've mainly heard some really great things about it. And friend of the show, Bishop, always recommended it years ago when it came out. It Follows.
Okay.
I watched Gremlins.
Okay.
Because it was on Freeform one night. Yeah. And I will say this. It's not the movie I recommend.
Okay.
I will say that I'm now conflicted.
Oh, and how you feel about the movie as a whole?
No, I still like it. I enjoy it. I feel like I would show and recommend that movie to people. But I'm conflicted in the sense that I don't think it's a Halloween movie. I think it's more of a Christmas movie. Because it takes place during Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's about gifting this gremlin, Gizmo, to someone else.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, I'm like, dude, I remember how much I enjoyed this movie. It was weird as a kid to see it, especially how, I guess, graphic it was for the late 90s.
Yeah.
And isn't it produced by, it's not produced by Spielberg, is it?
I want to say yes, actually.
It might be.
It might be.
I might be. I have to double check on that.
I think the first one was.
Yeah, the first one.
The second one was just done by the studio.
Yeah, it still has its classic horror elements with like the scary little beasts and
the whole what is it? It was the one scary part was the mom taking on the gremlins. They treated that like a horror movie scene.
Yeah, pops one in the microwave.
Yeah, that was great. Puts one in the juicer.
Yeah.
That was great.
And then it comes out of the Christmas tree with a knife and it tries to kill.
That was great. That was like a Chucky moment.
Yeah, I would much rather watch Gremlins than Chucky because I feel like Chucky is too real to me.
Me and my girlfriend, that's our favorite horror series is
the Child's
Play one, because we just love. I love him because I love the voice of Chucky, and I love just the whole aspect of it. The sequels just get more ridiculous, but I love it.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, I've never had a hatred for it. I can't because I think I can relate to it in a way because I used to have a stuffed life-size crochet clown doll.
Everyone had a life-size doll when they saw Child's Play, and it always freaked. Not for me. My older brother, when he saw it as a kid, we had a life-size Bart doll.
Oh.
And so when they watched Child's Play and stuff, my dad woke up the next thing in the morning, and the doll was like outside in the living room from my brother's room. He's just because he took it out.
Okay,
he didn't want to sleep in the same room, so he would just basically throw it outside the room. And
Jesus. Stuff. Okay, so a little quick story before I get into my recommendation for the Child's Play thing of it that we're talking about. When I was a kid, I used to have this life-size crochet clown doll. It was it was a classic clown look with like the pattern-looking, colors, and it had its like blue eyes and a red nose and the painted mouth and everything like that. But it was all crocheted, and I used to take this doll all over the place to the point that I used to dress him up. Yeah. I used to throw tantrums when it wasn't being fed, or he wasn't being fed, and I would call him my best friend. And from the stories that my mom would tell me, she said that she really got freaked out because I would be alone in rooms talking to this clown.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why I don't really want to watch Child's Play as much, is because memories of this clown doll are close to me.
Yeah.
Well, my mom threw him out because she said she felt uncomfortable with me always taking that clown doll everywhere I went. And I found out years later because he went missing, and I thought that, my mom might have sold him. She said, no, I just threw him away because I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I didn't want this clown doll to wake up next to me one morning trying to come after me. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but I'm sad, but
I'm sad. I'm a little mad at you.
I still hold resentment, but whatever. Anyways, my recommendation is this Netflix movie that came out called #Alive. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I think I just saw, Dead Meat did a kill count on it this week.
Okay. So #Alive is this South Korean movie that came out on Netflix. It's similar in a way to Train to Busan. I could have watched that and I could recommend it, but I feel like everyone's recommended that movie to death.
Everyone's seen that, honestly. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's watch another South Korean, zombie movie, see how this is. Pretty good. Honestly, pretty good. Yeah. I think the elements, Train to Busan, are still there. The zombies are still kind of like all, crunchy and, cracking and all this other stuff. And, still got the bloody eyes and the, gritty teeth and all this other stuff. But in short, the premise of the movie is it's follows this young streamer or video game player who basically wakes up one morning to a catastrophic event outside his apartment. And he sees all these people being attacked by, he doesn't know what they are. Zombies. We know that they're zombies, but, they're basically jumping on people and, biting them and all this other stuff. And he's stuck in his apartment. So you follow his journey as he tries to stay in his apartment, surviving for what supposedly is 60 days until he basically goes insane. So this thing takes place in one apartment complex, basically. To say any more is going to ruin it. Yeah. I feel like it will. I will say that it is a good movie in the sense that it does have its blood and gore, but it's not too extreme to the point that it's going to make you uncomfortable. It will have its moments. The zombies are pretty, bloody and stuff like that. And there's a scene where one of the zombies is eating a person, and you see like the stuff, coming out of the stomach. But it is a very good story in the sense that you kind of look at this person in modern times trying to survive and hoping that his family is still safe and hoping that he can get out of this alive.
Okay.
It's a very good movie. #Alive. Ends the way you normally would expect, but recommended if you are a fan of Train to Busan. Go ahead and watch this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's #Alive.
#Alive. And I watched the whole way through. I watched it. Even though it made me nauseous, I watced it, Rene, so you should be proud of me for going through.
Was it scary, though? Did you actually get, creeped out in certain moments?
Yes. There are a couple jump scares in there. Really well done, actually. Nothing like, in your face, but like suspenseful moments where you kind of don't know what is going to happen. Yeah. There is a jump scare that follows the kind of atmosphere of like Cloverfield, where like the camera is in that person's perspective and the zombie just kind of crawls out and you're like, and you're like, oh my God. But really good. I recommend that movie. Yeah. Cool. #Alive.
It's on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Okay, cool. All right, for me, I am going to recommend one of my favorite horror movies, which is The Reanimator.
Oh.
The Reanimator. It's based off of H.P. Lovecraft's, I think, short story. No, let me pull it up. But yeah, it came out in. I have it right here. What is it? Like 1985. It's an hour and 44 minutes.
Okay.
Very gory.
Okay.
Because, it
opposite
has to
of mine.
Yeah, opposite. Very gory because it deals with dead bodies and stuff like that. Have you heard of The Reanimator?
It sounds familiar.
So basically, it is a movie that is based off, like I said, from H.P. Lovecraft's short story called The Reanimator as well too. But they kind of like take a little like the idea of it and go make it their own as well too. Basically, it's about a med student named Herbert West that basically finds a way to bring back the dead bodies to life and stuff like that. He's found a way. He wants to basically overcome death, the whole idea of death, the inevitable end and stuff like that. And he does it with another med student of his along him called Dan, and they basically try to experiment on it as well too. They find out that their professor that they're working for is also onto them and stuff like that with what they're doing. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's really good. It has one of my favorite horror actors in there, Jeffrey Combs. He's from you probably, once you see him, you're like, oh, I know who he is and stuff. He has like one of those faces and stuff.
Okay.
But really good. I really enjoyed it. It's always one thing that I watch once a year and stuff like that. Then they came out with the sequel called Bride of the Reanimator because they didn't think they were going to make another one because it ended kind of like, it felt like it like ended. But because it got so much good like traction from it, they're like, okay, we'll make another one, and they made Bride of the Reanimator, and then they made one in 2006 with just the main character, with Jeffrey Combs, and that one wasn't that great.
Okay,
but the first two were really good, so I recommend.
The sequel's actually pretty good.
Yeah, they're both really good. They're both really good. You could just watch the first two, and that's it. You don't really need to watch the other one. But I recommend The Reanimator. You could probably watch it on Prime with your Showtime, if you have Showtime, or they also have it on Shudder. So if you have Shudder, you can watch it on Shudder as well.
All these streaming services, man.
Yeah.
That's good. No, it's really good.
Yeah, it's good to know like you can get these certain movies from somewhere. I want to try and collect it because there's like a Blu-ray set that's like a steelbook, and I was like, oh, that looks cool.
It's always surprising to see these classic movies have like these collector edition steelbook sets, because I have a friend of mine, his name's Ernie. He actually collected the original monster movies, and they're all in steelbook. So like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Swamp Thing, things like that. Or was it Swamp Thing or Swamp Monster or whatever?
Swamp Thing. Yeah.
The Swamp Thing, yeah. So he collects the steelbook ones, and they're pretty nice too. I'm like, oh man, they spent a lot of money making these things look really nice, and they're not cheap either.
No, they're not.
They're like $40,
30 or 40, depending on which ones you get.
Depending on the distributor, because I know Universal's really pricey with their Steelbook collection series.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, look at them.
They're
still like a modern franchise, and their collection series are usually like $80 and stuff like that.
Did you hear that they're going to end Fast and the Furious in like 2 more movies?
Yeah.
That's it. It's
thankfully. I love them, but still, it's like I feel like it needed to end. You can't just keep going on.
I want to see like what the final movie will be like. Space.
Family rides one last time.
The family rides. Oh, God.
All right, so our recommendations are The Reanimator and its sequel, and #Alive.
#Alive.
Perfect. Are we ready to get into our scary stories, Rene?
Yes, this week it will be me.
All right, Rene. I'm going to stay quiet for this. I want to hear the full experience of this, because you said it's a really good one.
So for me, I am going to be doing 2 short ones, because this will be technically my final week. My final short
Your final Shudder. What'd you say? Your final
Shudder. My final short stories of
Shudder comes after us. Excuse me. That is our word.
That's our word. Cease and desist. Keeping up with the nerds.
Only lasted 21 issues. All right, Rene, hit it.
So the first one is going to be about, if you guys remembered on the last issue or a few issues back, I mentioned my mother did pass away. 2 or 3 years ago, I think now. So this will be the story of the night that she passed away. So it's not sad. It's mostly kind of just like a weird, strange moment where my mom was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, and basically that same week, or she was diagnosed with it, and she was an alcoholic as well too. So she didn't stop, but she kept going and stuff like that. I think because she wanted to take it in her own hands at that point. She didn't want to let the disease to, stop her from it. So within a year, she did pass away. But the thing was that she was in hospice for I want to say like not even for like 2 days. She was in hospice for 2 days, and I think the final day she basically was just asleep, not, you know, she was still hooked up and everything, and, you know, the monitors were still going off, but, you know, her organs were shutting down one by one and stuff like that. So the final day we're sitting there, and then, you know, my dad was obviously there, and it was like late at night. The whole family was leaving, and, you know, my dad's like, "Are you guys going to stay here?" And we're like, "No, we're going to go home. I have work the next day, so I gotta just kind of like, you know," and I wanted to kind of get my mind off of it as well too. So we went home, and it was like 1 a.m., 12, or maybe like midnight or 1 a.m. I'm sitting there laying down in bed, and the next thing you know, I'm just, again, you're in that mode of like awake and asleep at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like awake and asleep at the same time, and you're aware of what's going on, but you know that you're resting. So the next thing you know, I'm in there, and I just hear my mom's voice go, "Rene," and I kind of replied saying, "What?" And I woke up, and I'm like, "Oh wait, no, she's not here. Okay, that was weird." And then an hour later, my sister comes in the room and tells me that my mom passed away. So I was like, "Wow, oh, okay." And so that whole night, and so a year later, I kept thinking about it. I was like, was that her kind of just like saying goodbye in a way? Or I don't know, was that just her kind of just like wanting to get my attention one last time? Because she always did that. She always just said my name to get my attention when she was around and stuff like that, to make sure, you know, I did something for her or did something for someone else and stuff like that. She always just said it in the exact same way. She goes, "Rene." And I'm like, "What?" You know? So I basically heard that one last time. So that's one.
Can I add something on this
go
one
ahead.
real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Just to kind of add on to this, because if you don't mind, I'll share a similar experience to that one as well. Because I think both our parents kind of passed away around the same time.
Yeah.
Within the same year or something like that.
Yeah, your dad passed away first, and then my mom passed away, I think, within the same year as
That's
well.
right. Okay. So it's kind of weird because now when you start to relate these stories about people passing, and you start talking to people who have had relatives or family members pass away, you start to kind of hear similar stories. I didn't know about this one, and it's weird that you bring it up because in a way I've had a similar kind of experience as well.
Because I kept that story to myself for a while.
Yeah,
I never told anyone until now.
It's I'm glad you shared it too, because for me, and I'll quickly go over it. The night or a night or two after my dad passed away, I was in that kind of similar status where you don't really know if you're awake or not.
Yeah.
I kind of know when I dream. If I know that I am dreaming, I know that there is a black border around what I'm seeing. And that's how I know. But in this case, I didn't see anything. But the weird thing was that in this dream that I had, and I'm putting in quotations because I don't know if technically I was dreaming or if there was something else, you know, that I don't know what was going on. My dad actually came to visit me. And it was weird because it played out as if it were in real life. Like I was at home with my mom, and I hear the door knock, and I open it. It's my dad. And in my head, I kept telling myself, I'm like, "Well, you're dead. Like, why are you here? You're dead." And my dad acknowledged it, actually. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I am actually here to visit you one last time." And so in this whole sequence of events that happened, basically my dad and I kind of had conversations. We went out, we went for a drive, we ate, all this other stuff. And then this whole event ended with us in like some mountain on a swing. And basically, you know, he was telling me, he's like, how much he cared for me, how much he loved me, and all these different things. And then at the end of it, he's like, "Well, I got to go. I'm sorry, but I really got to go." And I remember panicking and crying and going like, I don't want you to. He's like, "I know, but, you know, it's my time. And I told you I have to go." And he left me. And that was it. And it's weird because, you know, I think you kind of knew. Like you got to see your mom one last time before she passed. I didn't. I basically had my dad pass away without even knowing anything was wrong with him. He was perfectly fine one day, goes to work, falls asleep at work, never wakes up. And that was the end of it. So I think that sequence for me was him basically saying goodbye one last time. So it's like, I get you. I completely understand.
Yeah, that's why, and that's how I always felt and took. I think that's why I was able to deal with it a lot better, because it was basically my mom telling me goodbye. Yeah. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why I don't take like this whole ghost, you know, spirituality kind of thing so scary. And I mean, at least for me, I don't know about you.
No, yeah,
I can really talk about it, and I don't fear it because it's like, things like that. I mean, if a spirit's gonna come and kill me, go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Jump scare, whatever.
Yeah.
But like and stuff like that, it could be a message, and I think we've experienced it in that sense. Yeah. Do you want to present your second story?
So the second story has to do with me with sleep paralysis. So
okay. Oh, it's too close to home. Anyways,
so I guess is that the next one?
We'll just wait.
Okay. So for me, again, I don't know why it always happens when I'm sleeping. I guess that's where my mind is either the most vulnerable or the most open.
It's
at that
probably
point.
when it's most vulnerable because you're not thinking so much.
Yeah. I'm I don't know. Maybe it's like my energy or something like that. It's more open to that kind of realm. So I was sleeping, obviously, and it was during that time where I wake up during the middle of the night and stuff like that. So, or like my mind is slowly coming out from the dream and stuff. So, like you're slowly waking up, leading towards to actually moving around.
Uh-huh.
Well, the thing is that it's one of those things again where my brain was awake, but my body wasn't moving.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that I sleep. There's a wall right above my head, obviously where I sleep. And so then next thing you know, there was like this disfigured head coming from the wall to my face and really close to my face, but not making me feel scared or anything. It just wanted me to know it was there. And I couldn't move, but I can feel something like some dark shadow with a distorted face, just kind of like making sure like, hey, I'm right here, and I kind of just like, I'm more freaking out that I can't move. I'm not freaking out that this whole thing is right in front of me, but again, it feels like someone's right there. And the moment I wake up or like I can move and get out of it, obviously there's no shadow too, gone. The shadow's gone. There's no shadow there at all now. And I'm waking up, I turn on the light, and I'm just like, wow. That was weird. But again, didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel, scared. I was just kind of like worried. I was kind of like just like mostly kind of like confused. I was like, that was weird. And I was like, okay. Well, I was awake for maybe a good hour after that watching TV, and I'm like, I'm tired again. Went back to sleep, and then it was morning. That was it. So that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So those are the two that happened to me. So that's pretty much all the experiences I've had so far in my life.
So as far as the sleep paralysis monster or demon or whatever you want to call it, the spirit, you've only seen him once.
I've only seen it once, never to see it again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. My story is going to have to do with that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, that's interesting. That's interesting. I feel like you and I have had a lot of shared experiences.
I think that's why.
We're going to, I think the more we do this podcast, the more we're going to discover about how much,
we're similar.
Yeah. Which is good. I mean, that's probably why we have really great chemistry in the show.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Rene?
So that's the end of my spooky was it time or spooky stories?
Spooky nerd stories.
Spooky nerd stories from Rene. Next week, guys, will be Bryan's final story.
Final story. The end of Spooky Nerds. Have we been getting good reception over this whole Spooky Nerds thing?
So people have been saying that, they did find my story. The first one was like really kind of like, oh wow. And then but your story obviously got a little bit more traction. I don't blame people too, because your story was really, really kind of like what you think would happen in a movie.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Even I like it more. So I'm even interested, guys. So don't think, oh, poor Rene. No, Bryan's stories are better.
Look, I'm telling you right now that it's like I enjoy telling them.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy telling them, but I like holding on to them, and I don't really tell everyone. I'm glad I'm sharing it here.
Yeah.
We got an audience, and they'll get to know us more and stuff like that.
Plus, you could just be like, oh yeah, I've had stuff happen to me. Oh yeah, how? Just listen to my podcast.
Just listen to my podcast. But it's like I don't want it to be told so much that it starts to sound fake, because it definitely isn't fake.
No, that's the thing.
Like, these experiences are real to us.
No, that's the thing. I don't, and people think if our stories are fake, that's for them to think. But I truly believe, obviously, that what happened to you happened to you.
And you can ask my girlfriend too. She actually experienced, I think, 1 or 2 incidences.
Of her own?
No, with me.
Oh, wow.
So she was in the room when it happened, and she now considers me to be kind of like, not a medium, But like, it's kind of weird that whenever we go to a certain place, she'll ask me like, do you feel okay? And so on and so forth. And she says it's because I can read a room and I can tell. So like when we moved into our new apartment, 2 years ago, she asked me this a year afterwards, and I didn't even know. She's like, "Yeah, did you ever wonder why?" I kind of asked you like how you felt about the apartment. I'm like, "No, why?" And she's like, "Because you can kind of read a room, and you can tell me if like there's something wrong." And I'm like, "Oh, so you're kind of using me as a medium, huh?"
Basically,
yeah. And she's like,
a little
"Yeah,
medium."
yeah. But like, I usually get like good readings. But yes, I will finish up my story next week, and it does possibly, or not possibly, it does involve me almost getting taken.
Nate Nielsen comes in. I will find you, Bryan.
Well, Rene, thank you for sharing the stories, man. Thank you for
happy to share. Yeah.
It made Spooky Nerds great, and I'm glad people are enjoying our stories. We've got one more issue coming out with Spooky Nerds. It'll be next week.
Yes.
So stay tuned. So you're listening to this on Wednesday. It'll be afterwards. I know it's going to roll over into November, but we got to finish it because we are recording these in October. So Spooky Nerds will transition over into November just for the first week, and then we'll kind of explain what our game plan is afterwards at the end of the issue. But with that said, thank you guys for Spooky Nerds. Rene, thank you for the stories.
No problem.
And let's go ahead and jump into some nerdy news, Rene. We've already mentioned that we have a lot of Hollywood news coming out.
Yeah.
Kind of weird because there has been a lot of, at least, you know, because I feel like, you know, we have our separate interests and stuff like that. For me, the iPhone event was released this week, so I saw the new iPhone 12.
My sister is already going to get the new iPhone.
I'm not an Apple person. I just enjoy watching the events, and I was like seeing the reactions of people. So I got to see that. PlayStation 5 review units are coming out.
Yeah.
Something we're both interested in to see how they're doing. So I think by the time this issue comes out, certain reviews are going to be coming out already.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll tackle it on next week, you know.
Depending on the embargo.
Yeah.
Because I know that certain people are getting it. But more Hollywood news came out.
At the pause here, I'm getting a call from my house.
Go for it. And we're back. Okay. Sorry for the little pause. We had to deal with some stuff. Yeah. Okay. All good? We're good?
We're good.
Okay. So now we just got I don't think I have to edit it because you pretty much just paused it right there.
Yeah, I paused it.
Thank you. That's less work I have to do. But yes, so PlayStation 5 units are out in the wild. They are going to be review units. But I do want to get this before we get to our main topic because there is a bigger Hollywood piece of news that came out. We had Tom Holland finally revealed as Nathan Drake.
So when I saw that picture, I mean, okay, when that got announced, I was like, really? Sony, you're going to go for a younger actor? You have Nathan Drake already. Nathan Fillion. So he did the short film, you know.
Before we move on, because I don't think people are familiar with it, Nathan Drake is a character from a video game called
Uncharted.
And it's a video game about
treasure hunting. It's basically like Indiana Jones. It's Indiana Jones, but it's like more of a more adventurous and actiony kind of vibe to it, you know. Nathan Drake's character is a treasure hunter and also / thief sometimes when he needs to be and stuff like that. And he gets into trouble and stuff, and he unlocks certain things. The first game is about Francis Drake treasure finding El Dorado and stuff like that. And the second one's about Marco Polo stumbling to Shambhala as well. The third one is about it's also about Francis Drake, but it has to do with like it was like some like Arabian treasure and stuff like that. And the fourth one, I've played the fourth one once, haven't replayed it again, but it had to do with some other treasure that I forgot about.
It's interesting because it's who makes it? Naughty Dog?
Naughty Dog, yeah.
Naughty Dog is the developing company that does it. It's a good series if you're into Let's Plays to watch someone Let's Play it.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good story.
It's a very cinematic game. You know, you get into these situations and stuff and you play these awesome scenarios that you wish you could do when you watch a movie. So that's why I love the Uncharted series so much, is that it's so cinematic and you're just going through these situations that you would in an action film.
Once the PlayStation 5 comes out, I'm going to get the remastered, all of them. Because I only played the fourth one, A Thief's End.
Yeah.
And that was when it was, Joey had it. A friend of ours, longtime friend of ours, Joey, he had it, and so I went over to his place to kind of play the end of it because I was watching Let's Plays throughout the whole thing, and I'm like, I want to give it a try. Played it. It's a pretty interesting game, but I want to give every other game a fair shot, but I know enough of the story to understand where they're going with this with the setup. You said that they announced this. This was announced almost like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, a little while ago. And I remember when they announced Tom Holland was going to be part of it, I was like, really? And this was like during when he was still doing like Avengers Infinity War. This was like before Avengers Infinity War came out.
He already did Civil War.
Yeah, he already did Civil War and he did Homecoming. And I was kind of like, so by the time you watch those movies of him, he's like, you already taken him as like a really young high school kid and stuff like that. So when you cast someone like the character of Nathan Drake with Tom Holland, I don't see it. I was like, I don't picture it. So when the picture came out and they had like his outfit on, and I was like, oh, okay. I see it now. It's been years have passed. Tom Holland has proved himself that he can be a mature actor than just playing like the young kid or the young guy. You know, one movie that, if anything, I recommend watching that he is in is the Devil Knows what. The Devil's Always Knows or something like that.
You
on
mentioned
Netflix.
this. Yeah, you mentioned this about a week ago.
Yeah, Netflix. It's on Netflix, guys. It's really good. It really shows off how Tom Holland acts as like a more mature person and stuff, and it's really good. I recommend. I'm probably gonna watch it again because that was a good movie.
He is a mature actor. I feel like because he came in as Spider-Man, being a naive little kid and trying to learn the ropes about being a superhero, that's how we see him. It's difficult because it kind of happens with was it Ryan Reynolds? Deadpool.
Yeah, with Deadpool. Yeah.
So he played the original Deadpool in the X-Men movie, and we didn't think that he was going to come out, coming out great with it.
Yeah.
Then he did Green Lantern, and still nothing good came out of him. Then he had the chance to do a proper Deadpool movie, and he's really good.
That's the thing. Deadpool really helped his like stardom of like solidifying him that he can do anything.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And yeah, because during those movies that he did like X-Men and he did Green Lantern. When he wasn't doing those movies, he was kind of doing like romantic comedies. Yeah. He did like Just Friends and The Proposal and stuff like that.
There was a hidden comical actor underneath all that.
Yeah.
And he was still kind of comical there, but I don't think it was like it wasn't.
It wasn't him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You could tell he has the potential to be funny.
Yeah. And even in Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, obviously when you see him in Deadpool, he solidified that he can do anything. He can do improv. He can do anything. And, he could just do action movies on top of that. He can be the leading man, but then also be the comic relief at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like people need to give Tom Holland a fair shot, because from what I've been seeing is that people aren't responding well to the image of Tom Holland being this young Nathan Drake. They still want that reaction that you said. It's like, oh, well, we had one, which was Nathan Fillion.
No, and I'm still partial to that. But after seeing the photo of him and like his stance and the way he looked, and he took that demeanor in, and you can see that he is, gonna be Nathan Drake.
So this is a young Nathan Drake.
Yes.
This is before any of the games happened.
I'm not too sure if they're even gonna take the games into fruition when it comes to the movies. I think if anything, the smartest route is not to copy the games. Don't copy the games.
There's always something wrong that can go with that, because keep in mind, movies that follow video game paths have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
But movies that don't follow the video game paths also have a bad reputation.
Yeah, so
Assassin's Creed.
Oh god. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's like, look, the way Monster Hunter 2, they just revealed the trailer.
I just saw that and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it does not look like an actual Monster Hunter movie.
Okay, so when I saw I've never played the Monster Hunter games. Never played it. I've seen how they are. And I even know, watching the trailer, I go, that's not Monster Hunter.
Yeah, no. I have a couple friends on Facebook that are just like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
and it's like, look, I'll put it this way. Uncharted is a good enough franchise to basically take the elements that make it Uncharted to make it into a movie.
Yeah.
The thing is that the production company has to understand that this movie cannot follow the video games, and they need to establish that with the fan base.
Yeah.
They can respect it. They can reference it. They can do all these different things. Let Tom Holland be the Nathan Drake that he can be.
Let him be the movie Nathan Drake.
Exactly. Because Nathan Drake in the video games is completely different than the Nathan Drake we're going to see in the movies.
Yeah.
They're going to be using the characters, because Mark Wahlberg is playing Victor, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. That was like
that's
a piece
gonna
of
be
news.
Young Sully. Wow.
So it's going to be.
See, sorry. When I pictured Sully, I think the best person that would have played Sully, and I think everyone could agree, is Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
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 Bruce
But they're
Campbell.
going younger.
Yeah, they're going younger. So
Mhm.
we'll see. So that's the thing, is that if they try to do the video games, I don't know. That's the thing. It's so hard because some of the stories you want to see on screen. Like
You
the
do.
second one is the best Uncharted game of all time.
That's what people say.
The second one has better story, a great villain, and it goes back and forth between like the characters. You know, you like them, you like Nathan, but then you don't agree what he's doing, but you can't help it because he's so conflicted in this one.
But there's a smart way to do it because did you ever read the Kingsman book?
Comic book?
Yeah.
No, I know it's heavily different than the movie.
Much different.
Yeah.
Way different. But look at how the Kingsman movie came out.
That's true.
It diverted a lot. It kept a lot of the elements. It basically is the Kingsman comic book.
Same thing with the Kick-Ass series as well too.
There you go.
The Kick-Ass movie. They took basically like the bones of it and just did something different as well too.
Yeah.
So
There should be faith in what we see.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of that video game label that it's kind of looked as because so far comic book movies have had massive success. We look at Marvel and we look at the DCCU.
DCEU, I think it's
DC
the DC Extended Universe,
or is it the DC Cinematic Universe?
I don't think they call it cinematic.
Friend of the show
universe.
Bishop will verify.
Yeah, he'll probably message us right now.
That's Rebel. Rebel just messaged right now.
Oh yeah,
Bishop
Rebel,
will get back to us in
Yeah.
a bit. But I think it's the DCCU and then the MCU. You know, those are famous. Those are well known. Well known is the short statement. It's an understatement. But they are like the that's what comic book movies are.
Yeah.
They're massive successes, and we can look at Kingsman as well. Kick-Ass. Those movies have had success,
And those are
have been
great movies.
Watchmen as well.
Watchmen,
the
yes.
the original movie, not
Yeah.
the actual. Like it's still a cult movie. I would say
It's a
'cause-
cult. Yeah, it's a cult class. It's a cult movie now because it has. I think because the Ultimate Edition is like the best one, even though it's like the 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
But you get to see the full version of Bryan. I'm like thinking of everyone right now in my head. Zack Snyder's vision, so.
And then the series on HBO is supposedly
So
fantastic.
good.
Yeah, I still have to get through the entire novel or the trade. Holy crap, man! It is such a freaking long one. It takes me like an hour to like
Get through an
get through a
issue.
chapter.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, dude, I love it. It's like I'm complaining because it takes so long. I'm not complaining because it's bad. I'm complaining because it takes so long, and
Yeah.
I just want to finish it so I can get into the series. But whatever, I'll get to it. But yeah, I think there should be faith in this Uncharted movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if Tom Holland does not have the facial structure of this Nathan Drake that we
Yeah.
have, but give him a shot.
Yeah, no, he definitely fits the bill when it comes to looking like it. At least I think for me, at least, he's like the picture. Like they have like the shirt, the pants, like verbatim. That's what Nathan
Yeah,
Drake
he
wears.
is a Nathan Drake. He looks like it.
So that's the thing. If anything, it looks like a really well done Halloween costume.
Yeah,
if
keep
you
in
think
mind.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Ryan Reynolds, we didn't think he would be a good Pikachu, and look at how cute and adorable he was in the entire movie.
Yeah, that was true.
So, I
That's
mean,
true.
can you think of another example? Not off the top of your head, maybe, huh?
Not
Sorry,
off the
put
top
you
of
on the
my
spot.
head.
But,
I know. Yeah.
but I'm like thinking about it. I'm like,
No, but that's the thing. Like, I know that they've made video game movies or stuff that got adapted and stuff like that, and it's like the traction is bad, yeah. But the thing is too is that you have to realize that they tried. There are certain writers and studios that legitly tried to do something. I know with the Mortal Kombat series, they legitly tried to keep doing or redo Mortal Kombat in a way. It just never happens.
they're gonna do it.
I know.
Can't wait for that.
Remember there was a one where it was like, I think it was like almost 6 years ago. They were trying to do a Mortal Kombat movie, but they put out like a fan made kind of like little like what's the thing?
It was a fan made web series.
Yeah, web series, and you see like Michael J. White as Jax.
Yeah.
And they're explaining like how reptile. They try to put like a realistic tone to it. And then like then the whole time they're talking to Scorpion and stuff like that. And I was like,
Mortal Kombat's a different beast. If
That's true.
we can actually talk like 15 minutes about
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, because I'll just say this, that Mortal Kombat's lore is weird in the sense that
It's so heavy.
so complicated.
Yeah.
You follow 1 through 3, then reverse time. Then there's this whole other like anthology that you have to follow. Then it goes back in time, and then you have to follow this other thing, and then it goes back in time.
That's the thing, though.
Then 9 restarts the whole thing.
That's the thing is that you when it comes to movies like that, writers shouldn't really do that. They shouldn't really worry about how the video games did it, because the video games are meant to just be played and stuff, and always could put out more sequels and stuff, especially for Mortal Kombat. They're at Mortal Kombat 11 right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
But technically, is it number 11 in the series?
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of Mortal Kombat.
It's Mortal Kombat 11.
Okay.
But it follows the same. It's still in that order.
Still with the number order. Okay.
If we were talking about Mortal Kombat, because I know we got to talk about some other stuff,
Yeah.
and we're already at like a 40-minute mark.
50-minute mark.
50-minute mark. So we still have to talk about that. I do recommend Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge, the animated movie that came out from Warner Bros. You haven't seen it yet, huh?
I haven't seen it yet.
I'll let you borrow it once we.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it today.
Okay,
It
cool.
is a fantastic rendition of the Mortal Kombat universe. I feel like they're trying to redo this whole kind of story and give people a fresh start from an animated perspective.
Okay.
If they do that for the live action movie that they're doing, perfect. That's what I want to see. So, in conclusion, I think that Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, give him a shot.
Yeah, now that I've had a year to sit on it and now I've seen the photo, I'm like really excited now to see where they're going to go with it. Now, like I said, I hope they make their own little thing with the movie. At least if this is going to be a young Nathan Drake, I put up air quotes, a young Nathan Drake, do something new with the story, don't try to take something from the games, because I feel like those are better as of older Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
And that, if anything, that makes people obliged to, you want to see how Nathan Drake, is when he's older, play the games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you can. If not,
can,
there's Let's Plays out there on YouTube.
Definitely.
And so hopefully it's a good enough franchise you should visit.
Definitely.
And let's move on to the next piece of news. We're going to go back to DCCU, DCEU, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Because this has got everyone kind of like, oh.
What? So let's start with some good news.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder is going back and having reshoots with some of the main casts.
Yeah.
Specifically Ben Affleck as Batfleck. That's another one. People were kind of saying that Ben Affleck as Batman wasn't going to be good, and then look at him.
Yeah.
There's a great, in my opinion, one of the top threes.
Yeah.
One of the top three Batmans.
Right now, one of my favorite Batmans until the Pattinson movie comes out.
Oh, we'll see.
It might have to go down.
Still, people are going to be out there mad saying like, "Excuse me, Christian Bale was still good." No, Christian Bale was like, okay. Batfleck.
I can have a whole hour and tell you why Christian Bale's Batman wasn't subpar in my opinion.
Renee's path down or becoming Dr. Or Professor Chaos has begun. But they're doing reshoots with Ben Affleck. Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot she came out saying that I want to say she didn't want to do it, but I think she was contractually obliged to do it.
So there's a couple reshoots.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, because obviously, Cyborg's not having any reshoots because of stuff coming out.
Yeah, of course.
I think Ezra Miller has said that he's not doing reshoots.
It's what's his name? Aquaman.
Jason Momoa too?
I think so.
He's not doing reshoots?
He's doing reshoots.
Oh, he's doing reshoots.
Okay. This is speculation because I only saw a piece of news that this was like announced that they are doing those reshoots.
I know that Henry Cavill has announced that he is not doing reshoots.
Okay.
Yeah, Henry Cavill has announced that.
Okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
But they are having some of the main cast coming back to do certain reshoots, which is good.
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope so.
Because this next piece of news is kind of...
I think this is why they're doing this, because not a lot of people are doing reshoots.
Anyway,
you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Okay. I like how you're like,
this is what you get for messing with the Ouija board because he brought back someone from the dead we didn't want back, Rene.
Fine, blame it on me. So basically, it has been announced that Jared Leto is reprising his role as Joker in the Justice League movie.
They're doing reshoots.
So they're doing reshoots with his character. They haven't announced what part, when, or why. They just are doing it with him. Now, this has, especially our group chat, saying a lot of things, and it's funny to me. I actually laughed when I saw it because
I did the whole what's her name?
From Bob's Burgers.
From Bob's Burgers.
Yeah. What's funny? I can hear her when you sent that GIF. Her voice is in my
scene.
Yeah.
It's a famous scene. It's the scene where if you guys haven't seen Bob's Burgers, it's what's her name? I forget.
I don't watch it.
I forgot her name.
Unless it's the blue.
It's the bunny girl.
Yeah.
The bunny. I'd seen it enough, but for some reason the name slipped out of my mind right now. But it's the one where her
I think
bunny
it's
ears get
the
stolen.
eldest daughter, or is it the second?
It's the youngest daughter.
Okay.
Her ears get stolen, and so she like is gonna go out for revenge. So she actually goes insane after her ears get taken from her, and so she does that whole evil laugh with the fire in the background. It's great. I love that. Anyways, yes. So Jared Leto.
So Jared Leto is coming back as his Joker. I want to say.
The pause at the end is always like. Oh,
so obviously, if you guys can tell, we had very, mixed feelings about this.
Not just we, don't just know the internet,
the whole people, yeah,
the internet.
So when I'm going back at Suicide Squad. So when Suicide Squad was gonna be announced, I remember they were saying, "Okay, Joker's gonna be part of it." Okay, all right. Then they said Jared Leto was cast as Joker. Okay, he's playing a weird person. That's not too far fetched, 30 Seconds to Mars, So
30 Seconds to Mars is not a bad-ish band.
I like 30 Seconds to Mars because I hit an emo phase. Just didn't look like an emo, but I know
it's like My Chemical Romance. I think that My Chemical Romance is
like
popular
our
enough.
Stuff. Yeah, that's like our generation.
Everyone went through a My Chemical Romance phase, and you either said you liked it or you didn't. But to admit that you went.
Joined the Black Parade, okay?
So the thing is, everyone will admit that they went through a My Chemical Romance phase.
Every girl that loves Nightmare Before Christmas loved My Chemical Romance.
Ooh, that's a harsh statement. That's a statement.
It's a statement. It's the truth.
Look, everyone who went through an MCR phase will admit they went through an MCR phase. Yeah. Yes, but everyone that went through a 30 Seconds to Mars phase will not admit that they went through a 30. Yeah, you will because you're not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
I did AFI.
Ooh, everything's coming out, guys.
30 Seconds to Mars. What else? The Used.
Okay.
But they're
not bad bands. They're not.
I never went to Warped Tour though. I always wanted to go to Warped Tour.
Okay, I will admit something since you said this. I didn't go to Warped Tour, but I will say that I went through a phase where I listened to that song. I forget the artist. I think his name is Daniel Powder. Bad Day.
Yeah.
Because you had a bad day, you're taking one down. That one, you're singing that song just to turn it around. That song, I went through like a phase in, I think, early high school because I was like sad. I mean, we all. So I would listen to that song on repeat. It was like on my iPod and everything. Yeah. So
I just now realized that Warped Tour was like the alternative Coachella.
Yeah. It was the beach Coachella.
It was basically like if you wore like a Misfits jacket with fingerless gloves.
Oh my God! This is what Jared Leto does to us.
Yeah.
Can we go back to talking about Jared Leto?
Sorry.
Oh man.
So Jared, yeah. So I remember when that got announced, Jared Leto was gonna be Joker. I was like, oh man, wow, okay. I wasn't on the fence. I was kind of leaning towards of like, he can do it. He can do it.
Sure. Sure.
Then they showed the picture of him with his metal damaged, the ha all over his chest, the freaking smile on his arms. Oh no, and then he has like a grin on his hands as well too and stuff. And then the like neon green hair and stuff, and just the way they chose to like pigment his skin was like it looked wet. Like
yeah, it looks sticky.
Yeah, he looked like he just came from a 30 Seconds to Mars show.
Pasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like was in a what is it? What is the thing that people like push each other? I don't go to concerts.
A mosh pit.
Mosh pit. It looks like he just came out of a mosh pit, all wet and grimy and stuff. And it's not his sweat. It's everyone else's sweat.
Okay, I don't want to visualize that at all.
I'm just telling you, that's what the picture looked like. And yeah, so then I was like, I was trying my hardest to defend it because I wanted it to be good. So then when people were like, why does he have metal teeth? I'm like, do you think Joker's got a dental plan? He's gonna do like the cheapest route, the quick fix, because you see like Batman, he could just like pulverize someone and stuff. So why not? He's freaking taking out the Joker's teeth. Yeah, he's damaged. So then I saw the movie, and then the movie was just garbage. And Jared Leto's
except Killer Croc.
Killer Croc was still garbage. Again,
I still liked him.
the makeup was terrible.
Look, I liked him, okay?
They got super glue and got the scales and threw it on his face.
I tried liking him. Give me that. I think besides Harley Quinn being the only good part of that movie was Killer Croc for me.
For me, I think it was El Diablo. He had at least somewhat of an arc. Yeah. And I liked... But you know what? I don't like Jai Courtney as an actor, but I did like him as Captain Boomerang.
Okay.
I don't like him as an actor because I didn't like how Hollywood has kept trying to push him at us. Because he was in every other movie.
Yeah.
It was like...
You can tell that he was a name to try to push the movie along, to try to popularize it.
Yeah.
So we didn't like Suicide Squad. That's apparent.
We didn't like Suicide Squad. But the thing was is that, like, I remember Jared Leto obviously kept saying that he was like, oh, I had more scenes. I had more stuff in it. I could have done an old Joker movie. And I was like, okay, that's cool, buddy. Like, great.
Awesome. And then all these news articles came out that he was just a big asshole on set.
Oh my God. That was the most, okay, so that was the one thing that made me dislike him even more as an actor was that, he tried to go method. And I'm like, he would basically show up on set with like dead animals to the actors. He would pee in the coffee. He would basically send gifts, but like it would be like gross stuff in it and stuff. I don't want to say what it is because I heard rumors that it was like a prophylactic, used up prophylactic he sent to someone.
Yeah.
And that's just terrible. And it's just like, dude, that's not being the Joker. That's just being an a-hole. You know, you're just being an a-hole.
It's not method acting.
Yeah, that's not method. You're just giving a reason just to be an a-hole, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just, I don't know. It was really awkward him playing the Joker. The voice he tried to do.
It wasn't a joke. It seemed to be at least that he was trying to modernize a Joker when it shouldn't have been so hard to modernize him. No. We already had really good Jokers. And I think even Joaquin Phoenix, who a lot of people were kind of like, how is this guy going to play the Joker? Played a fantastic Joker. I think I said this before.
Yeah, he's
like top 3.
He played a really good Joker for that movie, I think. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, when people say that was the best Joker, I still go back to Heath Ledger as Joker because he went against
Mark
Batman.
Hamill.
Yeah, well, live action.
Okay, Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix, really?
Yeah, I enjoyed Heath Ledger, but I'm just kind of like, I think it's because the Dark Knight trilogy still has a little bit of a sour taste. Like, I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
I like him. I'm not going to fight anyone against. I used to, but I'm not going to like be and say like, oh, well, it's not a good series.
I think because for me, I liked the mentality of the Dark Knight Joker, that he always had a plan, always thought ahead.
And then the Joker ruined it.
And then, so with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, I did enjoy the transformation. The transformation was great.
It goes back to this.
Mm-hmm.
Heath Ledger's Joker was uncomfortable because you already knew he was insane.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, in my eyes, was, like you said, the transition of becoming a normal man to someone who has psychological issues and definitely needed help going insane and becoming the Joker. And that made you uncomfortable, or at least that made me uncomfortable. And that's why I consider that Joker to be the best one. And I'm not going to like disagree and say like, oh, well, you think Heath Ledger is a better Joker? No. It's more like I think that this is my opinion.
Yeah, no.
And Jared Leto can be thrown in the trash outside a dumpster in the alley.
That's the thing, is that Jared Leto's Joker, when you throw him in the DC universe, was like, to me, was really awkward. It felt very out of place. Even when he had scenes with Harley, like when he's like standing there over the vat of toxic waste, or like the Ace Chemicals with Harley and stuff, and that felt really weird. It didn't feel organic between Joker and Harley, or Jared Leto and Margot Robbie, like that chemistry. There's no chemistry there. And then it just felt like, oh yeah, because he's Joker, he has to go get Harley.
Oh, well, you know what? Yeah, Joker's a total asshole to Harley, and that's how he was portrayed in the movies. Okay, well, I'll tell you this. Alan Tudyk, Joker in the Harley Quinn series, was a much better asshole Joker.
He proved to be a much more meaner Joker to Harley Quinn.
Yeah, and Alan Tudyk is freaking talented
and
as hell.
And that felt more natural.
Yeah.
The other one, Jared Leto's Joker, again, felt forced. It felt like because he's playing the Joker, again, he has to get Harley Quinn. The thing is, too, is that they really kind of like idolized the relationship in that movie. Like to the point where it's like, I think that even Joker wouldn't really go after Harley in the way he did in the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like he wouldn't do it that way. I think if anything, he would have a reason to go after Harley, like he did in, was it Batman Assault on Arkham, when it was the Suicide Squad breaking into Arkham Asylum and stuff, and Joker basically breaks out as well too. He tries to find Harley, but the thing is that Harley knows where the next toxic bomb is. That's why he goes after her. That's it. He doesn't. There's no other reason.
There's no actual. And that's 100%. I feel like you're 100% right on the dot on that one. To kind of move this along and end it. Where do you think this is headed? Why are they bringing back Jared Leto into this?
I don't know. Maybe they want to establish like Batman and Joker finally, that I think Snyder wanted to do the entire time, because I know that he likes Batman. That's his favorite character, is Batman, especially the Dark Knight Batman, from the comic books as well too. So, I think that's his ploy maybe that he wants to do. He wants to kind of show like Ben Affleck and Joker finally kind of meeting on screen, because they didn't really meet on screen.
They met like once, and that was on top of a car.
That was it. But there was no like dialogue interaction and stuff like that. So I think that's what he wants to do and stuff, because from what I've heard, there could be a scene in like Arkham Asylum or something like that, or there could be, Batman's going after Joker again and stuff like that.
That'd be interesting. That Joker being in Arkham and Batman going to him to just talk to him.
Yeah,
it would be I would probably give Jared Leto a shot, and I feel like that's
if they
condemning statement to make. Yeah, but if it was him not acting or not acting like motion stuff, but him just kind of being in a room talking to Ben Affleck, I think that maybe it could be a good shot for him to just maybe redeem himself.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Anyways, you said that he maybe is like that finalized relationship between Batman and Joker.
Yeah, I think that's what he wants to do. If anything, that's how I feel he would go. But the thing is too, is that it's funny how everyone wanted a Snyder cut the entire time for Justice League, and it's like I look back at it and I remember that people didn't really like Snyder's movies from the DC universe at all.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying.
Don't say that.
Majority.
Don't say that. Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. That got so many conflicted though. That was very like.
Friend of the show, Rebel. I swear, I'm not the one saying it.
That was basically. I remember with not only DC fans but Superman fans as well too. Especially the whole killing Zod thing. Brian's making faces right now. And I'm going to hear it on the group chat. So,
I'm going to stay quiet.
I will say this, so when Man of Steel did come out, again, that was conflicted with, I enjoyed it. Personally, I did like it because it got me into Superman. Before Man of Steel came out, I didn't give a crap about Superman. Okay. I thought Superman was like the hardest character that you could ever write, because he's so many powers.
He's unbeatable.
There's no really threat that could really kill him and stuff like that. But then, Man of Steel got me into it, and I was like, oh. And I like Henry Cavill. He's a good-looking dude.
He's a great actor, too.
He's a great actor. That, too. And, no, I love him in The Witcher. The Witcher's great.
Ooh.
What was that?
That's a mic fall.
Really?
Yeah.
Spooky time.
Ooh. Don't forget about me. That was friend of the show, Rebel. He's going like, excuse, mic drop.
Mic drop. Yeah, he just was like trying to make a sign and just dropped a mic right now.
No, you're 100% right. Just to kind of wrap things up, if that'd be okay with you.
Go for it.
I honestly, I can't think of a better way to kind of put it, that I think that's probably what's going to happen with Jared Leto and why he's being brought up.
I don't think it's going to be a big role in the Justice League. I think he's going to have like a scene or two in it.
Now, if Zack Snyder, if Zack Snyder was actually wanting to appeal to the fan base, kill him. Bring him back just to kill him in the reshoot. Okay, so we're going to bring you into this, and your role is to just act, and you're going to blow up at the end. Excuse me? Yeah, you're going to die, and that's what's going to happen.
I think they did that in Birds of Prey or something like that.
For which one?
Birds of Prey.
Well, what character?
Joker.
No, he didn't show up in Birds of Prey.
Yeah, but it was like maybe it was because I remember Harley Quinn blew up Ace Chemical Buildings.
Yeah, because she wanted
to make it symbolic.
That was a symbolic, I'm breaking up with the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Have you seen Birds of Prey?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's a fantastic movie. It's so underrated.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of the most fun movies I've had with the DCCU.
I want to watch it, but I want to watch it with my girlfriend, and she is a hardcore Harley Quinn fan, and she hates Margot Robbie.
What?
She hates her.
Why?
She doesn't like how she portrayed her in Suicide Squad. That's why.
No, Birds of Prey. I feel, at least for me, I think that because I was kind of in the same boat where I'm like, I like Harley Quinn. I like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. It wasn't like it's finalized, it's set.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey, when I came out of that movie, I was like, oh no, Margot Robbie 100% is now the face of Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I showed her what Harley Quinn looks like in the new Suicide Squad movie, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I like the color scheme." They went back to the color scheme.
They're getting her because I think in the Suicide Squad it was like they try to do a different portrayal like they did with the Joker.
Hot Topic Harley Quinn.
Exactly. This is more along the lines of like
comic book Harley Quinn.
It's a modernization of a Harley Quinn away from her jester costume.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more comforting to see because now Harley Quinn isn't. And she kind of even mentions it in the Birds of Prey movie. She's like, she's no longer just a sex figure. She's now her own woman. She's strong enough and stuff like that. And yeah, she's still wearing like, her short shorts and a tiny shirt and stuff like that. But it's more of her definition, and you feel satisfied knowing that this is the definition of Harley Quinn.
Okay.
So that's the way I see it. And I enjoyed Birds of Prey. I'm hoping other people did as well. I think it's a movie that just kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. You had people say like, oh, it's a really good movie, but it died afterwards. Watch it. Okay. That's the recommendation.
I'll probably watch it next week, and then we'll talk about it next week.
No, for sure. Yeah. For sure. But with that said, should we wrap it up?
Wrap it up and tell them if the announcement's happening.
Perfect. Okay, so before we get into the last minute announcement, just a reminder, if you're listening to this podcast on Podbean, head on over to our Spotify or YouTube channel. We upload the podcasts on there as well. Hit a follow on Spotify. Follow us on there. Follow us on Podbean if you have an account on there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're actually using that as a platform, and not just for podcasts, but we have Let's Plays.
It's our... basically gonna be our main platform right now.
We just got a couple more subscribers. We're at 34 right now. I know it's not that much compared to most other people.
That's a lot.
Yes, basically
34 people that are tuning in on us.
Yes, and we have a Resident Evil 7 Let's Play that is 5 episodes in right now.
5th episode is when Bryan plays.
Yes,
and it's amazing. Already getting so much traction. If you guys don't know, if you guys want to see little clips, go ahead and go to the Instagram at Keeping With The Nerds, and you'll see little clips. I just posted today of Bryan playing Resident Evil 7, guys. It's hilarious.
So follow us on those platforms. Let us know what you guys think. Follow us on our socials as well. Yes. We have an Instagram and Twitter. Keeping Up With The Nerds. Just look us up there. I know it's either Keeping With The Nerds,
I think it's Keeping With The Nerds on both Instagram and Twitter.
Yes. So follow us on there. Let us know what you guys think of the episodes. Hit us up with any comments, concerns, questions. We'll answer them. We're more than happy to shout you guys out on there. Yeah. We always do it, guys.
We always want to hear what you guys think.
We love our listeners.
Yes, definitely.
And now, the announcement. So, coming to an end next week is Spooky Nerds. We are actually going to be taking a week break after Spooky Nerds is over, but the upload schedule will not... Am I going to miss an episode? No. We are not, my friends. We are not missing an episode. The upload schedule will still be the same, Wednesdays at 11:30, except for after Spooky Nerds is over, we will have an annual episode where we talk about...
Three Jokers, the final issue of Three Jokers, guys. So for that special episode, we are going to be having friend of the show, Rebel.
Finally
here with us in studio to talk about Three Jokers and maybe some other stuff, because I feel like we're going to go off a bit.
We're definitely going to go. So that episode will actually air after Spooky Nerds is over.
Which is
so
issue 22. Yeah.
So it'll be our annual episode. So it'll be kind of like a little break in between. And then afterwards, we'll continue with issue 23 of the podcast. So that podcast may be a little bit shorter. It may be as long as the podcast. We don't know. This depends on how the conversation goes. But we'll be working on that next week and having that uploaded as soon as Spooky Nerds is over. So stay tuned for that one. If you guys have any questions that maybe you guys want to ask us or Rebel, he is one of, amongst us, a big Batman fan.
Yes.
DC enthusiast. Yeah. So just let us know. Hit us up with the questions that maybe you guys want to ask him or ask us while he's in town, or in the podcast, excuse me.
You know what? If you guys want a question on the annual episode, hashtag it friend of the show Rebel. Hashtag it friend of the show Rebel so we can find your questions and we can ask them on the show.
Yeah, it'll work.
Hashtag friend of the show Rebel.
Yes. And even though we are taking a week break from recording and posting it out there, we're still going to be hard at work working on some content because our 6-month anniversary is coming up pretty soon. We are having the business cards finalized. It'll be up and ready, and we will let you know when they are available to pick up if you're interested.
Trying to aim towards next month. We don't know when, but we're going to try.
Yes, and it's going to be a limited run. Just a reminder, limited run. So those announcements are there. Let us know what you guys think. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean. Follow us on our socials, and stay tuned for the annual episode after the Spooky Nerds segment. Issue 22 is finally over. With that said, are we ready to wrap up this podcast?
We are. Go
Excellent.
for it, man.
I got to look some stuff up real quick because I was moving.
You're announcing everything.
All right, here we go. Thank you, citizens, for listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour. This is Bryan.
Rene.
Coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Recording at Undercity Comics. We thank you, citizens, once again, and hope to see you all